Hey everyone, this is Melanie McKnight with Justice Girls. Just us girls discussing law and life. And I have with me today.
Hi, I'm LaShonda Council Rogers.
Hey, how's it going?
I am good. How are you?
Good. I am fantastic. So I thought while we were having this little break time, I would get my little trial notebook together.
Okay.
Our paralegal, Tori, is on vacation and she doesn't come back till Friday. And so I'm going to just do this while you and I are chit-chatting. So what do you have going on today?
Well, I have a client that's about to come in. So I'm in a conference room right now, and so I'm just like going over some notes while I'm waiting for her to get here.
Mm-hmm.
But I am not looking forward to the discussion. But
why?
Huh?
Why?
Well, I have to, without, obviously going into detail about the situation, I just have to be the bearer of bad news, and I hate to do that. Her daughter, the client's daughter, was severely injured at a daycare center.
Oh,
and
no.
So we, signed the client, like permanent injuries, serious. So we signed the clients up, and there's nothing, unfortunately, we can do for them. And so I have to let them know. Huh?
Why not?
Well, unfortunately, according to Georgia law, daycare centers aren't required to have liability insurance. Right.
What do you mean?
I don't know what else to tell you. Daycare centers in Georgia are not required to have liability insurance.
Are you serious?
I am. I wish I wasn't serious, because I have to tell this parent today that although your daughter is severely injured and disfigured permanently, there's nothing I can do because the center doesn't have liability insurance.
So wait a minute. You're telling me that a place where parents drop their kids off for the majority of the day and to people that are entrusted to care for them, they're not required to have liability insurance?
No. They're not required to have liability insurance. The law only requires that if the center chooses not to have liability insurance, they have to inform the parents, okay? And they have to post it in the daycare center. But what happens is when a parent is signing up their child for daycare, they have tons of little forms that you have to fill. And so there may be one little sentence in the middle of 50 forms that says, we do not have liability insurance. Also, and so the parents, they're signing away, and they're signing that they acknowledge that the center doesn't have liability insurance. In addition, the center is supposed to post the fact that they don't have liability insurance in the daycare. But there's no guidance as to how they're supposed to post it. So it could be like one little sentence on a like, I guess, a cork board, or
that doesn't make sense. That does not make sense. I would assume that a facility that is caring for children is required to have health insurance. Required to have liability insurance.
Right.
I would not expect to go to a facility and see a sign posted saying that they don't have insurance. And I would not expect, when I'm going through the enrollment process, to be looking for a document that says I'm checking off, acknowledging that I've been told that this place doesn't have liability insurance. Most daycare facilities have playrooms.
Right.
They have outside facilities where kids are playing on swings, right, and other playground equipment. I just don't understand how that even makes sense, where you can opt out of having liability insurance so long as you tell the parents that you don't have insurance? I don't understand that.
Well, I think the rationale, which to me is not rational, is that the required daycare insurance is very expensive. And so the thought is that if you require all the facilities to have insurance, there'll be a shortage of daycare facilities and daycare options. So that is the rationale behind it. The problem is, are you really informing the parents if you have a 50-page document and it's in one line in a document, or if you have it posted in your daycare center, you have it posted someplace where no one can see it, or they may not even understand what that means. So, yeah.
That doesn't make sense to me. Like, so what happens now? Like, so this woman doesn't have any recourse?
Well, she could file suit against the daycare center owners or just a daycare center right out. The problem is, if you don't have the funds to obtain liability insurance, you probably don't have the funds to pay for any injuries that are caused on your, so there may not even be any money there to pay for this damage to this child.
So let me ask you this. Has that always been the case? Has it always been a situation where daycare facilities are not required to have liability insurance?
I don't know exactly how long this has been the case, but I know for at least the past 6 to 8 years, this has been the case.
Wow.
Yes. Right. And you wouldn't believe how many times I have to have this conversation with parents because some of these facilities, they're just opting out of it.
So tell me this, what would your advice be to expecting mothers, mothers that are maybe currently at home with their children and are looking to enroll their kids in daycare? Like, what is the best way to advise them of this information? Because I didn't know. To me, that's a reasonable assumption. Like, that's a reasonable expectation to believe in your mind and to assume that a facility that's caring for children all day has liability insurance, because accidents happen. Kids fall.
Right.
Kids fall. They get bitten by other kids. They have accidents. And where you are dropping your children off for hours while you're at work, to me, that's not common knowledge. That I would assume that they would have insurance.
Right, right. And so every time I have this conversation, it's just an utter shock.
Wow.
Right, right. And so I don't like it, obviously, and I hate having these conversations, but, unfortunately, that's just how the Georgia laws are set up when it comes to daycare centers.
Yeah. So what next? You're just essentially informing her that you all can assist her? Well,
if we assist her, there is no guarantee that there's going to be anybody who could pay any recovery that we do on the child's behalf.
Gotcha.
So, we just have to have a hard conversation about it. And it's always difficult. Always difficult. As a parent, I wouldn't want to, I'm not hearing that. Somebody comes to me and says, this daycare facility, they took your money, they agreed to care for your child, they agreed to abide by certain standards, but yet they didn't have any insurance to cover in the event of a loss. It's hard to digest.
Now, wait a minute. So this is really confusing to me because, like, every place where I have had an office, we are required to have insurance. Like, we're required to have an insurance policy, and we're required to provide a certificate of insurance showing that we have the personal property items here in the office insured to our landlord.
Right.
Every year.
Uh-huh.
And this is a law firm. So how is it that daycares are able to opt out of having liability insurance?
Well, you bring up a different issue. So if the daycare center is in a building where they require insurance, then
Oh,
okay, they have it. But as far as the state of Georgia, Georgia Department of Early Care and Learning, the agency that regulates daycare centers,
mhm.
they don't require it.
Oh.
So if the landlord does, that's one thing. That's a different can of worms. But the state that regulates daycare centers, they do not require it.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
So
Well, I mean, hey, you guys, did anyone know that? Like, if you had to sign an acknowledgement stating that you were aware that the facility that you're registering your child for childcare did not have liability insurance.
yeah,
That's
it's
interesting.
it's really really sad. And I like I said, I dread these conversations because I don't know. I don't know because I mean this child is permanently, I mean, scarred and injured, and there's nothing. She may not get a recovery. Yeah.
Well, that's the tough part of
Yeah.
what we do.
Right.
Mm.
Okay. Well, I've got to run. So, where can everybody find you, ma'am?
We can be reached at 470-308-5409. You can also find us on the web, www.bartleymcknightlaw.com.
All right. And I'm LaShonda Counsel Rogers of Counsel and Associates. We handle automobile accidents, trucking accidents, and daycare center abuse claims. And if you would like to reach us, you can go to www.ourfirmcares, or you can call us at 404-526-8857 or 855-TRUCK11. All right, honey.
Well, good
Well,
luck with your conversation. I hope that it goes well, and it's unfortunate, but I hope that the child, recovers and forgets what happened and is okay.
okay. Well, you have a good day, and I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.